Life video. Today I'll be ranking all the movesets in Arena and showing you which ones are the best for farming rell coin. In this tier list, I'll be showing like what my rankings of things are, and I'll also be showing gameplay along with it so you can actually see like what moves each moveset has. So starting off with the Kid Naruto moveset or the Azarashi moveset, I'm gonna put it probably like at C tier. It's decent, but the only problem is in base form it has like no damaging moves. It has like one Rasengan and the Q spec that actually deals damage, and then the rest like either like deal like 15k or like no damage at all, like the clones. And in mode it's actually pretty good because mainly because of the chakra hand, because like the chakra hand has really low cooldown and it's like an auto aim move that does literally 50k damage. And overall it's pretty good in mode because it has good stats as well. But other than that, like the Kid Naruto moveset is pretty low. So next we have the Teen Naruto moveset. I'm just gonna put it one rank above the Kid Naruto moveset, mainly because once again in base it doesn't have a lot of damage. Like at least this time it has the Vanishing Clone Barrage, which actually can deal a ton of damage, but mainly in RPG because you can't really set it up in Arena unless you have a stun. But that deals a lot of damage, and you do have a Odama or Sengon, not the really big one that deals like crazy damage, but like the smaller one. And you also obviously have like the normal Rasengan, so it has a lot more damaging moves this time. But mainly those moves, like they don't really multi-hit, don't really have any big AoE, so you can't really stack the damage up. But in mode it's really good because you have the Toad Summon and the gigantic Odama Rasengan, and those deal crazy damage. So it's definitely good for points game modes. Alright, next we have the Kid Sasuke moveset. Alright, so the Kid Sasuke moveset, actually I'm going to put it above the Kid Naruto moveset, mainly because of its weapon spec. For whatever reason, the Kid Sasuke moveset has the Bankai Blade, even though like it's like the Kid Sasuke moveset. So that like immediately elevates it really high up because, as you know, the Bankai Blade, you could teleport with it, you could do some insane combos with it, and it does like really high damage. Other than that, like Kid Sasuke moveset just has a nice balanced amount of moves. It has one taijutsu move. It has two flame style moves, and then it also has the Chidori. So overall, it does good amount of damage. And mode is really fun to use because obviously you get like the black lightning, and that deals a good amount of damage as well. Right, next, we're getting into the Teen Sasuke. So Teen Sasuke is low A rank, I would say. Mainly because once again it has a really good weapon, but overall just has like a better like move set than the rest of them. It's like moves just deal more damage. Of course, it starts off with the Chidori, and then you have the Phoenix Fireball Jutsu, and you also have the I forgot its name. It's the one which just shoots lightning straight in front of you, and finally you also have the yeah, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's pretty good. And then in mode, like the mode is like really good mainly because of its Amaterasu, because that like first it like multi hits, and then second it also like multi hits to anybody around you. So if they are literally standing still, they could take 90k damage, and that's per person which you hit. And you also do get the base Susanoo combat, and even though it's just the arm, like any move improvements to your M1s always helps. Next, we have the Kakashi moveset, and this one's like broken. It's like S tier, mainly because like you basically just have the better Chidori. You have the Lightning Blade, which you literally TP to anybody. Then you have the Hidden Surprise, which for some reason is a stun and it's basically unavoidable. Then you have the Q spec, which the weapon, which literally is another stun. And then you have the multi fireball jutsu, and then like that can become a combo extender, and overall it's like really broken. But then it gets even more broken in mode, because if you actually do C and 4, you actually go into a full Susanoo, and you could like basically just destroy anybody in the arena. And overall I'd say it's really good for like any type of game mode, and like depending on your skill level you could like honestly get like first place every single time with it. Alright, next we have normal Senko. So normal Senko, I'd say, is like between Kid Sasuke and like Teen Naruto. mainly because like its weapon spec, while it's kind of nice, it's like it doesn't really have that much auto aim, so you actually have to be good at aiming the flying Rajan kunai to actually teleport with it. And overall, even though it has like the multi-hit moves, like its damage is pretty low. And the recent nerf to the Senko bomb, when you actually hit somebody, it just pushes people away now. Instead of you being able to M1 combo after it, kind of reduced its combo potential. But overall, it's still a good moveset. It's just lacking in the damage. And mode-wise, it does get a time stop, which is pretty nice, but it's like relatively the same. Alright, next we have the Sakura moveset, or like the Blossom or Tsunade moveset, basically all the Blossom moves. And this one is kind of hard to rank because it really depends how good you are with it. I'd honestly like once again like put it mid B tier because like it's a full taijutsu moveset, so like you run out of stamina really quickly. But its damage is pretty insane. As you guys know, like the Blossom Spear, like if you can get it to multi-hit, that can deal like 60k. And like with all the buffs taijutsu has been getting, you could really like rack up your damage because now they deal a lot more damage and have lower cooldowns. And the weapon spec is also like really busted. Like honestly, I just rely on that because like it has like a really nice AoE and it just launches your opponents up, so it gives you time to charge or do whatever. And you also get a heal with this moveset. It's like if with full chakra you should be healing around somewhere 50k health. It may not seem a lot, but like you have to consider like no other arena character can heal in base, so that's pretty busted. And mode is relatively the same, except you do get new Z spec from one of the modes, and it's basically just a crash down, and that can deal like 40k like twice, so it actually does a lot of damage. Next we have Kajin. So I would put Kajin like A tier. Like I'd say it's below normal Akuma. So the reason why like Kajin can be really busted is just because of its first move. You know, it's the really annoying big ash breath, which like keeps on knocking you back. And if you get that in like a big group of enemies, your point damage will like instantly go up. But otherwise, its other like two moves actually aren't that great. Like the one where you just spew clouds everywhere. Like I haven't seen anybody actually run into that, and people can just substitute out. So it isn't really that great of a stun. And then like basically a knockoff Phoenix Flower jutsu is like okay, but actually has quite a bit of hand signs, and it doesn't have a low cooldown. So it's like also okay. But the main thing that carries this moveset is just the big flame breath. And then obviously when you go to mode, you do actually get the pole, and you also get the monkey. The monkey actually doesn't deal a lot of damage, but the pole can actually deal a lot of damage if you use it correctly. Next we have sand. So like before, like I would used to like put this C or B tier, but then since golden sand got a buff, this moveset as well got a buff. So once again, this is also a A tier moveset. I'd say it's actually above Kajin, mainly because you have Sand Tomb, which is like insane for team fights. Basically, if you just put somebody in a Sand Tomb, they're in there forever, and all your teammates can just snipe them with all their ranged jutsu. You can also you also have the golden sand, which is basically turned into a knockoff Shizen, and each sand like hits 12k for like 8 or 10 times. So it does insane amount of AoE damage. And then you also have the stun that's been improved, and you could just get some nice M1s off it. So it's very good. The only thing is the mode, like the mode is actually kind of, I'd say, worse than the base. You do lose the multi-hit golden sand move, and then you get replaced with the basic air move. So overall, and then you do get the chakra hand like the Kid Naruto moveset, but then overall it isn't as great as it was with the in base. But other than that, you also do get special M1s plus a special block, so if anybody tries rushing to block break you, you actually push them back. So once again, it's a very nice moveset. Alright, next we have the 8 Gates of Death. So this moveset, like this moveset is like you could honestly put it like in S tier. But like I'm gonna put it high A tier. So obviously it's a taijutsu moveset, and this, unlike the other taijutsu movesets, like this one has like very nice mobility, so you could actually catch up to people who are running away. And also, the main thing that carries this moveset is the weapon. So if you didn't know, the weapon for the 8 Gates of Death actually does like 100k damage. It does like 10 slashes, each slash dealing 10k damage. And it's like pretty easy to hit as well. So then if you just get it into like a big pool of enemies and just use the Q spec, you'll be like shredding almost all of their HP. And then of course the mode is like really busted because you get the 8 Gates of Death. And you obviously get like the TPing Lotus moves, and then you also get Night Guy, and you get Hiradora. So it's like overall it does a ton of damage. The only thing is that like I don't know if you would want to be using this moveset in elimination, but it's also like in the anime, and like in if you use this mode in RPG, like you'll die at the end of it. And unlike in RPG, you just can't like turn it off. So then like in elimination, unless you just need to kill like one last person and you win, I wouldn't suggest using it. Next is Shizen. Shizen is another like S tier. I'd say it's above Kakashi's moveset. Mainly because it's like it just has everything going for it. It has like a lot of AoE, has the auto tracking wood root move, it has the trees, has the Q spec, which like if it hits one person does 40k, but then you could hit like multiple people with it really easily, so you could rack up your damage just from your Q spec, which is also long range. Then you also have the best nature move because they gave it to Shizen for some reason. And you also have like the insane stun with the blossom move. So overall it's just like a broken moveset. Like I don't know like why Rell Games like gave it that much stuff. It was busted already just with Shizen stuff. And then mode, it gets even worse. You literally get the 1,000 hands, and then you also get the wooden golem, which does like even more insane damage. So yeah, this is like close to top of broken, I would say. Next we have Minakami. Like you might not realize it, but Minakami actually is like it's really good. It's like I would say it's lower than Gates of Death, but then it's above the rest. The main reason why is if you haven't noticed the move where you actually ride on the puppet, you could basically infinite stun lock somebody, deal 100k damage, you could M1 on it, you could do moves on it, and it has no hand signs, and you get iframes on it. That's literally like what carries Puppet. And if you haven't noticed, Puppet also has no hand signs on any of its moves. So even though it doesn't have a weapon spec, it's basically just its moves are just too good. Like Rell Games like buffed this move set to the roof, and like honestly like that the puppet riding thing really needs a nerf because it's really annoying. So yeah. And also on the mode, you get like the special bomb M1, so then obviously you keep the same moveset, but a combo you could definitely do is ride on the puppet and then just start M1ing with the bombs, and they'll drop onto the person you're hitting, so that'll deal a ton of damage as well. Next we have Koketsu, or the bone moveset. I'd say like it kind of depends on who's using it. It has a really nice combo, which will probably be shown in the gameplay. But I would put it like at, I'd say it's like low A tier. The main reason is that like it has a really nice combo where you go in with the Vine Whip and then you use your Taijutsu move, which does a ton of damage, and you can combo extend after it. Then you could use your Bone Bullets to continue extending your combo, and then you could end off your combo by using the Scythe. The thing is, it's like the Bone Whip is really inconsistent and like sometimes glitches and sends you like random places. So if you like lose that and then you just miss it, like you can't really do anything else. And then the Bone Force, while it has big AoE, it takes a ton of chakra and has like quite a bit of hand sign. So it's also like generally not very good. But then the mode is also like very like even though they did buff one of the extra moves you get in this moveset in mode, like it still doesn't deal a lot of damage. But overall the moveset's pretty good. Next, Wazaname. I'm not gonna lie, I went like really crazy with this, but like in all actuality, I wouldn't say it's that good. I just had bad people in my lobby. But like I would put it above. I would put it above Kajin as well. Yeah. Mainly, the main thing with Wazaname is you could put on constant pressure. Since you have the Samihada, you could just drop the Q spec, gain back like all your chakra, and then just continue spamming your water moves. Like the first move in your moveset literally does like 60k. You shoot 6 sharks, each dealing 10k damage each. And then the rest of your moves also deal a ton of damage. You have the giant shark, and then you have like the teleporting shark, and overall it does a lot of damage. The mode is kind of a letdown though, because while you do get the water bowl, which is like a really nice stun, the only thing is that you get like you basically get its Z spec, and its Z spec isn't really that good. It just makes you invisible. And I mean, while there are like some uses for it, like just going invisible is like kind of lame. It's like you don't deal any damage or anything, and then you do lose out on like one of your moves, which can deal a lot of damage for you. So isn't that great? But overall, like Wazanami has big AoE, does a ton of damage, and is like just a very reliable moveset to go for. Alright, next is Scorch. So Scorch, like, so apparently there's a glitch with Scorch. So before I rank it, I guess I'll just tell you about the glitch. So basically, you might see in my gameplay, but like for whenever you activate your Scorch orbs, and then you don't use all of them, and then you use the last move, which is the big Scorch orb. It like your cooldown, you could just instantly respawn your Scorch orb. So if you don't let anybody hit you and take all your Scorch orbs away, you could theoretically infinitely cycle through them. The only thing is that like if somebody notice you're just sniping them with Scorch orbs, they'll just start blocking, and then it does like no damage. And plus, like the big Scorch orb moves doesn't have that great auto track. It does have it does have a very good Q spec, the same Q spec as Blossom, except for some reason it does like 10k damage less, so it only does 24k. So overall, Scorched, like, I'm gonna honestly put like low B tier, but I have gone some games where I gone like first place. It really depends on who you're fighting and if they actually block the Scorch orbs or not. Alright, so next is Lee's, basically Lee's moveset. And basically this one is like literally just below, like I'd say it's like below Minakami, because you do get Leaf Hurricane, which has been like buffed through the roof, and it does like a ton of damage now. But obviously the reason why it's so high up is it's literally carried by the Q spec. It's the same one that's in the 8 Gates of Death moveset. So it just does a ton of damage with that. And then its taijutsu moves, it has decent mobility, not as much as 8 Gates, because obviously you don't get Ember entry. But you overall just deal a lot of damage with it as well. Okay, next we have Shadow. So Shadow, once again, is like, it's pretty good for like team fights, I would say. Like I don't know, like if I would put it that high up. I guess I could put it, yeah, it's like, it's honestly better. Like, it depends on how good you're using at it, but it could be like a good A tier, or it could also be like a low B tier for you, because it doesn't really deal that much damage, but then you're supposed to like make that up by stunning people for your teammates to deal the damage. So I would like, for like damage wise, honestly it's like a high B tier, I think, or probably below like Kid Sasuke. The main thing with Shadow is you literally have 3 moves that stun, and then you could M1 combo off. So you could like get some good infinite combos going, but then your only damage comes from your Shadow Stitch, and then you're just multiple kunai moves. So that's the main downfall of Shadow. And then the mode is also kind of let down. It's just that you just get buff stats. So Shadow, once again, like if you're good with it, you could just keep on like infinite comboing people, because your Q spec also is a stun. But like overall, it just doesn't deal a lot of damage. And then if you guys are probably coming to this tier list to know like what deals the most damage, so you probably shouldn't use Shadow. Alright, so next is Wind Style, is the Wind Style moveset. I don't know why they have like this image. I think this is like the 7 Gates image but I'm not sure like why they have that. But yeah, this is the Wind Style moveset. So I would put, yeah, Wind Style moveset is like, it's on CD. No, it's not a D tier. I'd say it's a C tier. Mainly because the Wind Style moveset is literally just the wind element copy pasted, and then your Q spec is just like another wind element move, and that just does like 25k damage. So it does like no damage. And then like in my gameplay, I was just like spamming it, like, but then like we were kind of dominating already, And like, to be honest, it doesn't really stack up against like the other movesets in this tier list, so I would rank it like really low. And then the other thing is, in this mode, once again, it just gets like a damage buff, so like it does like no damage at all. And you can get cancelled very easily, and then like has no taijutsu. It's all like just spamming moves, and yeah, it's not overall not that great. But something that's even worse than it is, yes, nature. Like nature is like utter garbage. Like it's like it's basically just has the normal nature moves, which for some reason have high cooldowns, even though they deal no damage. And its other moves, it literally gets one shadow clone. Like, I don't know like what one shadow clone is gonna do for you. Like, people can just farm mode off it, honestly, because everybody uses snake moveset. But yeah, it like the shadow clone, one shadow clone isn't doing anything for you. And the worst part is like its Q spec. Its Q spec also, it's literally the base katana, so you don't really actually get a Q spec with it. So yeah, it's really bad. And then mode, once again, is just buff stats, so I don't know why anybody would be using nature. Like, you literally cannot use it to do anything. Next, we have atomic. So atomic is like, yeah, atomic is, I would put atomic in like S tier. It's like, it's low S tier. It could be interchanged. The main reason why atomic's so OP is because it just does so much damage. And it even has a decent Q spec. Basically, you could just put them in a box, laser beam them, and then have the auto track. Like, keep in mind, like both of the laser beam and the auto track move both like guard break. So like you could just they can't even guard against it, and it just does so much damage. Both moves at least deal 40-50k damage, and then even the stun does like 30k damage. It like does way too much damage. Has really low cooldowns. Like the earth move that actually enshrines you so nobody can hit you, I mean, I'd say it's like okay. Like, obviously there's like moves that just go through it, but I mean, it gets the job done if you're just trying to charge chakra. And the Q spec, like, honestly, like, I tried using it. It's pretty good. It's just that like atomic's not one, like, it isn't really the moveset you try M1ing and doing combos with. So like the Q spec works, but it isn't really that useful. And then in the mode, like the other movesets, like some other movesets, it doesn't get anything new, just gets boosted stats. But for this one, it does matter because like the moves are OP already, so then the boosted stats, you're just dealing even more damage. So yeah. Okay, so Jokai, I don't think this is literally this is this is top of broken now for now. It's like Jokai, like I don't know like what rell games were on like when they changed the third move and buffed it to what it is today. Just all you need to do with Jokai is you pop down the 128 palms, then you go into an air palm, and then you could just do your Q spec after 128 palms and then do air palm. They'll do like over 100k damage. And yeah, it's like Jokai is just spam your moves. Just get them in like one move, like the 128 palms or rotation, and then you could just kunai them, air palm them, use your Q spec. Like pretty much anything goes. And then when you get the mode, like you even get even more moves. You get like the slam down move, which now double hits and block breaks. So that's really good. But overall, Jokai is like just broken. Like in my gameplay, I literally just went like, okay, you're a Rinnegan user, dead. You're another user, dead, and like another user, and you're dead. So it's like really broken. Next is ice. So you think this is actually quite like bad, but it's honestly isn't. The main thing that's like bringing its like potential down, I'd say it's Q spec, but it's the worst Q spec in the game. Honestly, I'd rather have like a normal katana or a kunai than its Q spec. It does like one like throwable. Basically, it's like one throwable is the Q spec, so it's like really bad. So then I'd still put it in A tier, mainly because of its other moves. So mainly its first move, literally, it's so good for comboing. You basically just put a bunch of ice mirrors around everybody like Haku, and then you just keep on barraging them from all sides. And then after that, you can do the ice palm move where you just shoot shards from your palm. And now that doesn't even have hand sign, so you could combo extend off it. So that's really good. The third move, which is the ice pillar, like it's kind of inconsistent. Like sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. But if it does hit, it could deal like a lot of damage. And then finally, the fourth move, that's even more busted. Like you put down the ice floor, and then it lasts for such a long time. You can literally get 3 consecutive stuns off it, and its hitbox is bigger than what's shown. So a lot of enemies fall for it. So ice is like really good, and it's honestly like really fun. I'd say it's one of my favorite movesets to use, and it does like a lot of damage as well. It's just a Q spec. And for its mode, sadly, like they didn't add the new C spec that it got like recently, but it's just buff damage to everything. Okay, so next is the demon moveset. So this one is, I'd say it's like, I'd say it's just low B tier. Like it has good utility. Its Q spec is really nice. You could just like keep on comboing people. The thing is, like, I actually tested the damage, and like even though you think you're dealing a lot of damage, you're only dealing actually 20 or 30k because each swing is actually only dealing 1k damage. And overall, like, it kind of suffers the problem of not having enough damage moves. Because, like, the water prison, like, if you're fighting against somebody who actually, like, knows that it's just blockable, it's kind of useless. And then the water dragon, which is it's always nice, but, like, it also, like, doesn't deal that much damage. So overall, like, it's a fun moveset to use, especially with the hiding in the mist, but it just doesn't deal the damage. In mode, you do get a new move, which is, like, just the Z spec of the demon mode. So that's pretty good, which is it's a nice stun, but I'm gonna put it pretty low in my tier list. Alright, Rengoku. Yeah, like what's there to say, to be honest? Yeah, like Rengoku, like the only reason why I'm putting him below Byakugan, I just feel like in a 1v1 situation, I honestly think Byakugan would just win because it's just that busted. But Rengoku, like, you get so many, like, the Almighty Push has so much range. They added back the block break, does so much damage. You basically have all bases covered with this. You have a mode stealing move, you have long range move, you have big AoE move. And the Q spec is a stun. Your chakra rods take chi. That's your throwable. It's just so good. And then like when you go into mode, you literally get Chibaku Tensei. And yeah, you also have a pull move, like which is the almighty pull in base. Like, yeah, Rengoku is really good. And honestly, I hate like when people just use it because like you try using any move, you'll just get cancelled. You'll get cancelled by like anybody using almighty push. So yeah. Okay, Clay. Okay, yeah. As we come to like the end of the tier list, almost all of these abilities are going to be like either A tier or like just S tier. They're broken. So Clay, I would put it's either above or below Rengoku. I'll just put it below Rengoku for now because I think overall like Rengoku is just easier to use and like to spam for damage. But yeah, Clay like has low cooldowns, has high damaging moves. Like you all know the shrieking bird noise that you hear every time somebody uses the second move on you, and that's annoying enough. But then like you can literally combo off it. You literally have the throwable kunais, which deal a ton of damage as well, and the birds that deal a ton of damage. And the Q spec honestly is like the reason why it's really this high up is because if you hit the Q spec right, you could literally deal like over like 100k damage. I like one shot somebody using it. I'll probably show it in the footage, which is probably playing right now. But then yeah, it does like so much damage. I don't know why. Like it's like, think of the old like umpire guitar, the one which you walk back with. So like if you like walk back with the Q spec after you knock your opponent back, you deal so much damage. And also the Q spec also is a block break, so your opponents can't do much about it. And then oh yeah, the other reason why this is so high up is the mode. The mode, it literally has the lowest draining mode I think out of all the arena characters. You will be in mode like as soon as you get mode, you'll just be in mode like forever. Like trust me. And then in mode you also do get the big nuke, and which actually got buffed, so it's a block break. And yeah, it's like Clay is like it's just so spammable, so much auto aim. It's just the S tier. There's no question about it. Okay, next, black lightning. So I put black lightning, or I guess black shock if you go with copyright, right? I'd put it. It's like an A tier. I'd put it honestly. Yeah, I'll put it like above Kajin, but like Black Lightning. Also, if you're like wondering why there's some lock signs on some of these, this actually isn't my tier list. I just found it online, so I'm too lazy, to actually create one because like editing pictures takes forever. But yeah, so Black Lightning, like it it definitely has potential. Its Q spec is pretty good. It's just that if you hit people from far range, you actually can't punish them. But Black Lightning overall is just decent. Like the first move with the Black Panther, like it's just a nice combo extender, and you can snipe people if they aren't noticing it, and does decent damage. The floor is a really nice stun, but honestly, it's like I don't know why it has such a high cooldown. It's just a worst iron sand floor stun, so yeah, but it's pretty good if you land it. After that, then you have the normal storm moves. The third move, the long range storm move, that's really good. They buffed it. Even though it just does 30k damage, has low cooldown, low hand signs, it's really fast, and it's also a stun. And the fourth move is kind of iffy. So it's the one which summons thunderclouds above you, and anybody near you will like take like 60k damage if they're near you. It just has like long cooldown and a lot of hand signs. And if the people if there's nobody near you, and then somebody comes near you after you activate the move, it actually doesn't like hit them. So the move can be like good sometimes and bad the other times. The mode, you actually do get the double black light. You just get like one new move, which is the double panther, and that move, like, while it was good while it came out, like its damage is like kind of lacking now, but overall it's like decent. So that's the reason why it's low A tier. It's like workable, but isn't the great. Okay, paper. Okay, so paper, I would put it in S tier. It's just that like it kind of got reworked for the worse. Carry Bro is kind of nerfed paper, not gonna lie. So basically, like so basically with paper, like you got the cranes that everybody knows that does a ton of damage if every single crane hits. Then you also have the big AoE paper move, and like Carry Bros actually kind of nerfed it because before it used to multi-hit for 30k damage each, so it deals 60k damage in total. But now it only hits once and does 40k. So like, and it basically lasts less, I'd say. So it did get nerfed in that aspect, but overall it's like really good for locking your opponents down because they can't move in it. And you could just rush into them if they try blocking the damage. So overall that part's really good. Then yeah, and another nerf is it's paper shurikens. While they used to be really good because you could infinite combo people with it, you could just knock them back and use one paper shuriken which would knock them down. Now the paper shurikens deal 21k damage, which is really nice. For some reason I think Carry Bros forgot to re-add the stun or something, so they no longer stun. So that kind of brought the moveset down. And then it obviously has explosive kunais. And also the thread blade got nerfed, so like it's like, trust me, it's still really good. It's just that like people can sometimes, like, if you pull them in and they're too far away, that when they pull in, your end lag will last longer than theirs, and they'll be able to M1 combo you first. So yeah. Mode, paper just gets boosted stats. It does get its Z spec, which is like the paper, like the big paper explosion. Like honestly, the paper like explosion it has quite a bit of hand signs, doesn't deal that much damage, has good AoEs, just takes a long time to really use the move. So overall I wouldn't say it's that good, but you do get like a little bit extended M1s with the paper wing, so that's always nice. So that's the reason why paper is the top of A. It would have been an S. It's just that like all the moves aren't like really as they used to be. Like some of these nerfs happened a long time ago, but I'm just saying like paper used to be better, yeah. Okay, next. Okay, yeah. That's what defeats Jokai. I mean, like in a 1v1 situation, I guess it wouldn't, but yeah. Like Jokai is like done for. So yeah, there's not much to say for this. It's like the only downside for Bankai Kuma is that it doesn't have a Q spec. But other than that, you already know the gist of it. You have like the multi black flame balls or the Materasu, and each one it can hit up to multiple people. And if the people are close together, it'll actually double hit. So you could deal a lot of damage that way. And it has like the crow move, so you basically gain iframes. You also have a teleport, which is like a combo extender, which is you just like teleport to the nearest person, which is really nice. And the grand fireball is honestly kind of nice because you have a nice long range move. So yeah. And then in mode like it just gets crazy. So I'd say like Bankai, for some reason the mode lasts for like extremely long time, so you get the Susanoo M1s, which are really nice. And with the Susanoo M1s, you also you get the C spec of Bankai Kuma, which does 60k damage and then takes like 4k mode. So if you just get Bankai Kuma, you could just infinite Tsukiyomi them and then just take all their mode. And then once like one person just gets their mode, like literally nobody else can mode up because their mode is constantly getting taken. The only thing is, it's like it can't replenish its own mode like one of the bloodlines. I mean, one of the other movesets can later. But yeah. Yeah, Bankai Kuma is like way too broken. Like it honestly doesn't make Arena that fun. I'd say the rest like you could counter, but Bankai Kuma like it's just too good. Alright, next Eternal. So Eternal is also unbroken. I'd say it's better than Kakashi's moveset. So the reason why Eternal is this high up is because it basically has two moves that can heal itself, and its Q spec does 60 damage. So that's pretty self-explanatory. So it does a lot of damage. I mean, like its damage output isn't as high just from its moves, but its Q spec kind of makes up for it, and it just has really good utility. Like the big circle move, like it basically you basically just regain so much health from it if you hit multiple people, and you like never die. And the stun is also really nice. It's almost insta cast. And then you just basically just then grapple onto people with your dual bladed sight and just destroy them. In mode, you actually do get the C spec of Eternal, which is really nice. The C spec basically just stab yourself multiple times and keep people stunned on the floor, which you could follow up with a move or like M1s. So it just has it's very solid, and then like it's so solid that it's kind of broken because the fact that it can heal itself is like, once again, like not many bloodlines you can actually heal yourself, and this one you can heal yourself really easily. So yeah. Next we have Iron Sand. So Iron Sand is like I'd say it's bottom. I mean, like not bottom. It's below. It's below I'd say yeah, it's above Akuma, but the main reason why Iron Sand isn't that high is because it only really becomes that good in mode because you obviously get the Iron Sand hands. Because otherwise, you just have a bunch of stun moves, and then the Iron Spikes are really good. It's just that the hitbox is kind of iffy. I'll probably show some clips of it, but like the hitbox is like really iffy, and that's kind of what brings it down. But if you could get the hitbox to actually properly work, you deal 3 ticks of 17k, which is a lot of damage. And the sand floor is kind of this like it is just really good because it has a big AOE. And like you could help out your teammates by stunning the other team, or in free for all you just choose who you want to go after and then just M1 them. And then in mode, like that's where it really shines because then you just use your big hands to just beat people up, and then you just try stunning them afterwards and continue your M1 combo. Next is Azarashi. So Azarashi I would say is actually kind of low A tier. No, not low A tier. Like I'd say it's below Black Lightning. The main reason why Azarashi isn't that good is because its Q spec is a kunai. Like if you thought nature down here with its katana like was bad, like its Q spec is literally kunai, and like it's not that much better than not having a Q spec at all, to be honest. So yeah. The main thing is because its first move, it did get revamped. The first move actually got nerfed because before the first move used to actually stun people and they would get locked in the ground with chains, and you could continuously M1 them. But now like it just does the 15k, and then the chain goes back in your body. So, and the chain's range, like, it seems really long, but half the time, like, the hitbox doesn't really work, and then, like, even though you technically did hit your opponent, it doesn't register. And the first move, honestly, is, like, really bad now. But the second move, honestly carries it, because, it's basically like an auto track like Bankai Kuma's Amaterasu, except it stuns people. It doesn't deal that much damage, but you can, like, basically combo up people, and really helps your teammates because, like, it has a really nice range, so it'll stun, like, pretty much like anybody around you. And, like, the third move with the long range chains, I'm not sure if they actually deal a lot of damage. Like, I just see a bunch of 3Ks, so it could deal a lot of damage, or it could actually just be really bad. But overall, it has, like, a really nice range, so it's pretty good. Mode, actually, like, once again, it's just boosted stats, so it's nothing special. You actually do get the Z spec, but you don't actually get any of the upgraded Z specs. You just get the base one, because Carry Bros never actually changed bloodlines in Arena, even if they had new moves for it. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But yeah, it's a solid A tier. Next, Nectar. So Nectar, I'd say, yeah, Nectar, like, if used properly, can be broken. Or no, I'd say it's above Paper in A tier. Because Nectar's first move, like, it's a big stun that, like, ticks 3 times. It does decent amount of damage. But Nectar overall is just a really good bloodline, because if you, like, combo the first move, then you just spam all your other moves on the one person who gets stuck in them, and you just deal a ton of damage. Once again, I'm pretty sure it doesn't have a Q spec. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it doesn't have a Q spec. But other than that, it's really good, because the poison bees, they deal, like, they literally off like each hit alone, they deal 10k, and there's 6 of them. But then you have to also keep in mind there's poison damage, so that does a ton of damage. And then when you ride the bead, that does, basically there's a trick with any of the moves that multi-hit and you control. Like, if you just keep on shaking your mouse, like, and then you just stay in the same place, you could keep your opponent stun locked, and they'll take the ticks very rapidly, so they'll take, like, a ton of damage. So it's really good in that regard. And the mode, you actually do get to fly on the bee and shoot the stun. Basically, you shoot these 3 balls, and if they hit, they deal, like, a ton of damage. Each hit, like, the ball will deal 30k damage and will stun. It's just that, like, it's kind of hard to aim, and unless your opponent's charging, I really doubt you're gonna hit it. So yeah, so the move honestly isn't that good, and you also have to consider every time you use it, you lose mode. So, like, on top of what you're already losing, like, when you have mode activated. But other than that, like, Nectar is a really high A tier, and, like, I have a lot of fun using it, and I get a ton of damage with it. So yeah. Wait, Okami. So Okami is, like, honestly just that annoying, like, moveset. I'd say, like, it's once again below Paper here. So, like, Okami, it basically has, you have the dog moves that, like, ragdoll, and they're really annoying. But they're kind of hard to use, and they're kind of glitchy. So the first move, if you don't keep your cursor on your enemy, they'll be able to escape. But if you do, it'll deal a ton of damage. Then the second and third move, you have to be kind of close range. But then if you can hit them right, you could, like, M1 combo them right after, because they'll be stunned after you come out your move. So overall, it's pretty good. You don't get a Q spec, which kind of drags it down, but the mode is what carries it, because when you get into mode, you get special M1s that deal, like, 12k damage each hit. And then you have the big dog, which, yeah, the big dog does 12k. It's, like, basically your second and third move, except imagine each hit does 12k damage. So yeah, it's really strong, but it has, like, a high skill gap, I would say. Oh wait, okay, so next, or, like, second to last, I would say we're getting to the end of the tier list. We have Kurada. So Kurada is also, I'd say it's above both Kakashi's Sharingan and Atomic in Broken, mainly because of its recent buffs. So if you don't know, like, the first Kurada move now, it basically it does 30k damage as a block break, and then you get M1 combo extend off it. And basically an easy combo you could do the second move, which is the Human Boulder, and the Human Boulder can deal 120k damage. once again, it's like the beam where if you just shake the camera, you'll continuously do the ticks and anyways ragdolls. So yeah, it does a ton of damage, and as soon as you get out to it, you activate your first move, and then you combo extend, you knock them back, and then you use your third move, which is the body expansion, and then you just punch them, and then you basically finish off your combo. So Karada overall has low cooldowns and very high damage, that's why I put it that high up. Obviously, it doesn't have a Q spec, but and then like you think it's it for it, but then it actually has like a well-made mode, because you actually do get its C spec and mode. And then they also recently buffed its C spec to deal like 80k damage, so that's also really nice. You also get the special M1s dealing like 12k damage each, so that deals a lot of damage. So like yeah, that's the reason why Karada is an S tier, because it just deals a lot of damage and it's pretty easy to use. Okay, finally, yeah, like Snake. I mean, Snake is kind of vice versa with Bankai. I'd say sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. But like, if you see my like Snake footage, you just know like, like with Snake, like you literally have the perfect moveset. You have big AOE with the Rashomons. You could steal mode with the Reaper Death Steal, and then you get the big Snake. And the genjutsu in it is really bad. Like it's the worst genjutsu, worst stun in the game. It's almost impossible to hit. But like it's so broken, like it doesn't even need that, to be honest. And with the Snake, you just go around being super annoying. You could get cancelled off it from Nectar, so that's one way to counter Snake, if you use a Nectar stun move on it. But other than that, Snake, you just go around and then you just hit a bunch of people with your Snake, and that's that. And then with your Reaper Death Steal, once you get mode, it becomes even more toxic, because then you first have the green Snake, then you get the white Snake, and the cooldowns are so low, basically once you're done riding the white Snake, you just go back on the green Snake. And the strat with Snake is, once you're running low on mode, you just use your Reaper Death Steal, you just go to some random people who are fighting, just take their mode, and then you're just good to go and like continue to spam. Like this is like one of the most used movesets in Arena, and there's a good reason why. Okay, so that's it for my tier list. I would say like just you could use any any moveset to actually get damage. It's just that like everybody's gonna be using like generally these top movesets, so I would suggest you do too. Otherwise, you aren't gonna really have that much fun if you're just getting comboed up and don't get any damage, because you really want that damage for the rell coin. So yeah. If you enjoyed this tier list, please like and subscribe. I'll be doing more Shindo content or other content as well. And yeah, and that's it for the video.